Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to 9 Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book, Ladder's Resume Guide, Best Practices and Advice from the Leaders in 100K+ Careers by Marc Cenedella is a practical career tool built for professionals targeting six-figure roles and above. Drawing on Ladder's experience as a platform focused on high-earning jobs, the book frames the resume as a performance document designed to win interviews in a fast, competitive hiring market. It emphasizes what actually influences recruiters and hiring managers, especially in environments shaped by applicant tracking systems and rapid screening. Rather than treating resumes as autobiographical summaries, it positions them as targeted marketing assets that communicate value, leadership, and business impact. Readers are guided toward clearer structure, stronger writing, and sharper prioritization of accomplishments over responsibilities. The guide also addresses common mistakes that quietly disqualify candidates, offering a disciplined approach to formatting, content selection, and tailoring. For experienced candidates who feel stuck, overlooked, or underpaid, it lays out a repeatable method to upgrade how their experience is packaged and presented. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, write for the 6-second scan and the decision maker behind it. A central idea in the guide is that many resumes are judged in seconds before they ever receive deeper attention. The book focuses on how to design content so a recruiter or hiring manager can instantly grasp role fit, seniority, and impact. That starts with a clean layout, consistent headings, and information hierarchy that makes the most relevant details unavoidable. It also means leading with the strongest, most recent, most aligned experience rather than trying to include everything. The guide encourages readers to anticipate how a reviewer skims job titles, companies, dates, and a few high-signal bullets. Because of that, the resume must make those elements easy to parse while still sounding executive and credible. It pushes candidates to clarify the job they want, then shape the top of the resume to support that direction with a focused summary, core strengths, and a few signature achievements. The underlying lesson is to respect the reader, time, and cognitive load. When you remove friction and highlight proof quickly, you increase the odds of passing the first screen and earning a real conversation. Secondly, build bullets around achievements, not duties. The book stresses a shift from describing what you are responsible for to demonstrating what you accomplished. For senior and high-earning roles, employers pay for results, judgment, and leadership, so a list of tasks rarely differentiates one candidate from another. The guide advocates for bullet points that show outcomes and business value, ideally with metrics, scope, and context. Examples of strong components include revenue impact, cost savings, efficiency gains, risk reduction, customer growth, team size, budgets managed, and systems delivered. It also pushes for clarity about the problem, your action, and the result, so the reader can see you as the driver rather than a participant. When numbers are not available, it suggests using credible proxies like scale, frequency, or comparative improvements. Another emphasis is relevance. Achievements should be selected and ordered to match the target role, not simply to reflect pride or chronology. This approach helps candidates signal seniority, strategic thinking, and ownership. The resume becomes evidence-based rather than descriptive, which is crucial in competitive six-figure searches where many applicants share similar titles and industry background. Thirdly, create a targeted narrative with a strong summary and positioning. Beyond bullet points, the guide highlights the importance of positioning, especially for professionals making a step up, pivoting functions, or re-entering the market after a pause. A resume should tell a coherent story about what you do, what you are known for, and why you fit this specific job level. The book encourages crafting a top section that acts like an executive snapshot, summarizing specialty, leadership strengths, and the type of value delivered. It also emphasizes aligning language with the job you want, using role-appropriate keywords and phrasing without drifting into vague buzzwords. Readers are guided to choose a narrative that bridges past roles to future ones, making transitions feel intentional rather than accidental. That can include emphasizing transferable skills, industry knowledge, or repeated patterns of impact across roles. The guide also warns against overly broad claims that sound generic at the senior level. Instead, it favors specificity about domains, stakeholders, and outcomes. With a sharper narrative, the resume becomes easier to believe and easier to advocate for internally, which matters when recruiters must justify why a candidate deserves an interview. Fourthly, optimize for applicant tracking systems without sacrificing readability. The resume has to work in two worlds, automated screening and human judgment. The guide addresses how applicant tracking systems can misread complex formatting and how keyword matching influences who gets surfaced. It promotes a format that is clean, standard, and machine-friendly while still looking polished. That typically means avoiding design elements that break parsing, keeping headings conventional, and using straightforward section labels. On the content side, it encourages incorporating relevant keywords from job descriptions in a natural way, particularly for skills, tools, methodologies, and role titles. The point is not to stuff terms, but to ensure that your actual expertise is discoverable. The guide also highlights consistency. If you have held a role equivalent to the target position, but with a different internal title, you may need to clarify that equivalence so both software and humans recognize the match. At the same time, it reinforces that readability wins interviews. Even a well-optimized resume fails if it feels dense, confusing, or inflated. The best approach is disciplined, a simple structure, clear language, and keyword coverage that supports your real story rather than replacing it. Lastly, avoid common senior-level resume mistakes that quietly disqualify candidates. A practical part of the book is its focus on errors that experienced professionals often overlook. One frequent mistake is treating the resume like a biography, including outdated early career details that crowd out recent relevant achievements. Another is relying on vague claims like results-driven or strategic leader without concrete proof. The guide points out that senior candidates are judged on credibility, so the resume must show evidence, not slogans. It also addresses formatting and length discipline. Too much text, inconsistent styling, or hard-to-scan paragraphs can reduce your chances even if your background is strong. The book warns against listing every tool and skill ever touched, which can signal lack of focus. Instead, it recommends prioritizing what matches the target role and removing noise. It also encourages careful attention to dates, titles, and employment history presentation to prevent confusion or suspicion. Finally, it underscores tailoring. Sending the same resume to every role can make you look misaligned, especially in the 100K plus market where employers expect precision. By eliminating these silent deal breakers, candidates improve not only their interview rate, but also the perceived seniority and professionalism of their candidacy. In conclusion, this book suits mid-career and senior professionals pursuing high-earning roles, including managers, directors, executives in training, and specialized experts who want their resumes to compete in demanding hiring funnels. It is also useful for candidates who have strong experience but are not getting interviews, since it focuses on how hiring decisions are actually made under time pressure and system constraints. The benefit to a reader life is practical and immediate. A clearer, more persuasive resume can shorten job searches, improve interview quality, and increase negotiating power by positioning you for higher-level opportunities. The guide encourages an evidence-based mindset that can also strengthen how you talk about your work, prepare for interviews, and define your professional brand. Compared with many resume books that lean on generic templates or broad career advice, this one is framed around the expectations of 100K plus roles, where impact, leadership, and relevance matter more than chronology. Its value is in the disciplined approach to scanning, achievement writing, and targeting, which makes it worth buying for professionals who want a repeatable system rather than a one-time rewrite. If you would like to support Marc Cenedella, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.